What is going on, guys? Fitcho here, and welcome back to the Fitcho Career. It is part number 15. We are getting towards the end of this series, but if you do enjoy this video, make sure to smash that like button, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. But here we are in Japan, the 15th round of the championship. Now, of course, Japan is a great track, a fan favorite. Everyone loves Japan, but it's not personally my favorite to drive. I'm not the quickest here. And, I don't know, it's going to be interesting. It's not my worst track and it's not my best track. It's sort of somewhere in the middle. I'm not the biggest fan of it to drive. I'm just not the quickest here. As for how it suits our car, it's sort of a mixed bag. So, of course, you've got the first section, especially with the S's, a very high downforce sector. And that's really going to help our Red Bull. But then, of course, you got the last sort of sector. Once you come out of Spoon Curve, you're flat out on the long run down to 130R, then you got the little chicane, and then you're down the pit straight. So the last sector of the track is going to be really bad for us, and the first sector is going to be really good for us. So it's going to be interesting. It's sort of a mixed bag, like I said. It'll be interesting to see how we actually go. Of course, we are going for 3 wins in a row, as we won in Singapore and Monza. So I think we could do it here, but I'm not the most optimistic. We managed to win in Monza, a track that is so bad for our car, the worst track for our car on the calendar. And I won in Singapore, a track that I'm not the biggest fan of, especially since they removed the sling. So, at a track that I probably prefer more, if you look at the car and the driver preference, my preference, this track is probably better than both Monza and Singapore. And we managed to win at both of those tracks, so we could definitely be on for a 3rd win in a row. But I'm not going to get my hopes too high. Hopefully we can get on the podium though, but let's jump into qualifying here in Japan. Okay, here we are in qualifying, and after practice, I don't really like our chances of getting 3 wins in a row. I'm not really happy with the car. I'm not comfortable around this track at the moment. On the options, the car feels okay. I can sort of get by with it and still set laps that I'm reasonably happy with, but I'm not as quick as I want to be here. And then we jump onto the prime tires, and I really do not like the car one bit, and for fuck's sake, Hulkenberg. Oh, that's frustrating. Someone coming out of the pits right in front of you there. There's nothing I could do at turn 1 here in Suzuka. But on the options, the car feels okay. But on the primes, I feel it doesn't feel okay. I want to put more aero on the car for this section. But when we get later in the lap, I feel like a sitting duck down the straight if I put a bit more aero on. I can't take any more off, or otherwise I'm going to really struggle through the S section. So I'm sort of in that tricky point. I don't know what to do with my aero settings, but I think I've found the best balance possible of the car, but I'm still not happy with it. And we're probably almost a second off the pace compared to the Mercedes on the option tires. So we're really not as quick as I want us to be, and I'm not really comfortable around this track. So it's probably not going to be 3 wins in a row, to be honest, unless things go seriously in our favor during the race. But hopefully we can get a solid result and beat our teammate. That'll be the goal. Oh, what a lap. A 1:37.5. That's enough for me. I'm stopping. There we go. Somehow we managed to snatch pole. I don't know how I managed that. That was an absolute maximum attack lap. I left absolutely nothing on the table in that lap. I don't think I could physically do a faster lap in that car around Suzuka. That was probably the best lap I could possibly put together, and I managed to put it together. I went out in the middle of the session. You know how there's that big lull in the middle of the session? I went out then, no other cars on track, and that's when I set that lap. Wow, I don't know how I managed to pull that out of the bag to get pole by 3/10 over the Mercedes. Far out. I don't know how I did that. Absolute maximum attack on that lap. Left nothing on the table. And we get rewarded with pole position for it. Let's jump into the Japanese Grand Prix. On the grid in Japan, and it actually looks like a rather overcast day. Practice and quali were nice and sunny, but it looks overcast now, so the weather might play a factor in this race. It might rain, It might not. I really don't know. Let's have a look at the race strategy. It looks like it's going to be a two-stop race, pitting about lap 8 or 9, I should say, for another set of options. Then lap 16 or 17 for primes, going to the end for the 27-lap Japanese Grand Prix. Let's jump into this. We're starting from pole. Let's go. Here we go, in Japan, at the very front of the grid. We've got 5 lights, lights out, and away we go. And if Jeff could shut up, I could actually hear my engine. And we've been absolutely mugged off by both Mercedes as we head down into turn number 1, and Hamilton's run Rosberg wide. As usual, the Mercedes have come together, and we have retaken the lead there. I don't know what happened with the Mercedes. I will make sure I get a replay from both of their POVs and sort of a replay camera of that. But the Mercedes have collided yet again, and that has gifted us the lead. Okay, having another look at the start, you can see we get a terrible start as per normal in this game with lots of wheel spin. I've got Mercedes up our inside and the other Mercedes down our outside, and now they're going side by side into turn number 1, and Hamilton just runs Rosberg clean out of space. He actually runs himself off the track, and they actually have that get their tyres sort of interlocked, and they can't really do anything. A weird sort of glitch, and you see Hülkenberg and Magnussen actually do the same thing, but here they go. They are now free, but they're down in 19th and 20th place. The damage had been done at that stage, and here we go. We can have a look on board with Lewis Hamilton. There they go, straight past me after my terrible start, and you can't actually see Rosberg on the outside, but he turns into turn number 1, and he just can't make the corner. He goes off the track, and at this stage the tyres are now locked with Rosberg, and he just sits there helplessly watching himself tumble through the field. Absolutely nothing he can do at this stage. He's just stuck on Rosberg, and as you can see, they are now free, but the damage had been done at that stage. And here you can have a look on board with Rosberg. You can see us light up the tyres off the start, and he goes down our outside. Now he's side by side with Hamilton, and you're just going to see him get completely run out of road. Absolutely nothing Rosberg could have done there, and now you can see the tyres are interlocked. I don't know what exactly happened. I'm not sure why the AI are running that wide. Like, Hamilton shouldn't be running wide like that. He could have easily made that corner, but for some reason he ran wide and just interlocked tyres, a weird sort of glitch. And as you saw at the start, it happened with Hülkenberg and Magnussen as well. So it's quite odd. 4 cars all getting sort of tied up at that first corner in this odd way. And as you can actually see on the first replay I showed you, I'll show it again, but you can see pretty much the entire top 6 actually ran off the track at the first corner, including myself. So a very interesting first corner, to say the least. End of lap number 6, and we're coming into the pit lane for our first stop of the race. Last lap, Bottas pitted from second place, so we're sort of covering him off, but doesn't look like Massa has pitted, has he? I can't even tell. I thought Felipe Massa would be coming into the pit lane, and it looks like, oh, they're a fair way down the pit lane. Yes, they have, sorry. This is 2014, when after 2013, they weren't very good, so they didn't have a good spot in the pit lane, so I was just getting myself a little bit confused there. But we come back out in third place with Jean-Eric Vergne in second. I'm not too sure who is first at the moment, but both Williams, Raikkonen's in the lead, but both Williams have pitted. I've pitted, and I think Ricciardo must have pitted as well, because he hadn't pitted, and now he's behind me, so he must have pitted and stacked or something, which is very interesting from Red Bull. Not too sure why they're doing that. A bit of a Mercedes from Singapore last episode. Around the outside of Jean-Eric Vergne for the lead at the Dunlop curve. And like I just sort of said, we take the lead of this race back, and I really don't know where like the Williams are or Ricciardo is, because we've got Vergne and Grosjean now behind us, so I'm really not too sure where our actual competition is at the moment. Okay, there we go. Massa and Bottas are now in second and third, so all the stops have filtered through. I just saw we have a 10-second lead to Massa. I'm not too sure what happened to Bottas. He was a little bit closer, but he seems to have fallen back. There was a lot of front wing on the ground there at the chicane. It's gone from 22 runners to 21 runners. Hopefully I remember to go find a replay and show you guys what happened. I'm interested to who has actually crashed out. It looked black, so maybe it's a Lotus, probably Maldonado, wouldn't surprise me. Okay, let's have a look at what happened. You can see the two cars that got tangled up on the first lap, Hulkenberg and Magnussen, get tangled up again, this time at 130R, and Maldonado has nowhere to go but to run into the back of Nico Hulkenberg there. So let's have another look. Watching with Maldonado, you see the two off the track, they come back on right in front of him, he just smashes into the back of them, and absolutely nowhere to go there for past Maldonado. Now he's got no front wing, he's got to get back to the pit lane, he gets out of the way awkwardly of the Caterham, they let the Sauber through, and then he decides he's going into the pit lane, and bang! Gutierrez races over just like that, and he takes out the DRS board for good measure. Let's have a look on board with Maldonado now. You see the two go off in front of him, they come right on in front of him, he had absolutely nowhere to go. So that part of the accident is not actually Maldonado's fault, believe it or not. But here you see he has absolutely no front wing at this stage. A Caterham goes around his outside, then he tries to get out of the way of Gutierrez, then he decides he's going into the pit lane, and he just smashes Gutierrez into the pit wall. And now we get to have a look at Gutierrez. You can see the front wing going across the track there. Everything is fine and dandy in Esteban's little world, and Maldonado's going slow. He's like, okay, we'll get past Maldonado. He's got out of the way, and then bang. Maldonado puts him into the pit wall, and now the best camera angle of them all. We'll watch on board with Esteban Gutierrez as he gets Maldonated. Here we go, he's coming down into the chicane, the final chicane here at Suzuka. He sees that there's been a bit of an incident in front of him, and he's like, okay, let's just get past Maldonado. He's gone to the left, so we'll go to the right, and then Maldonado comes across, and bang. I've got to watch that again, that was brutal. Maldonado just shoving him into the end of the pit wall. You can't script this stuff with AI. Okay, the end of lap number 15, and we're coming into the pit lane. Now, both the Williams and our teammate Ricciardo all pitted about 2 or 3 laps ago, so I think they were all on a 3-stop, and we were on a 2-stop strategy. And we had about a 25 or 28 second gap over Massa, so we might actually still come out in the lead of this race. Look at the minimap, he's probably going through the chicane now, and we're about to come out of the pit lane, so we're going to be close with Massa, hopefully ahead of us. Hopefully we're ahead of him, and we're going to be going to the end on these tyres, and I'm guessing by when everyone else stopped, they must be doing another stop this race. I just don't think they could make... I'm going to push these primes 12 laps, and they're going to have to go like 15, and the options should only go like 8, and I push them 9, so I think they all must be 3-stopping, and we're 2-stopping. We have no more stops, they all have another stop, and I'm in the lead, so this should just be a matter of keeping this thing on the road, and we should be able to win, but I don't want to say too much, too early. Yeah, there we go. Massa has pitted, so he was doing a 3-stop like I thought, and now Ricciardo is into second place. So Bottas, I think the Williams must have stacked. Both Massa and Bottas have gone into the pits, and now we've got Ricciardo in second and Raikkonen in third. And it looks like Ricciardo and Raikkonen have pitted, and now we've got Massa back in second and Rosberg, so the Mercedes have sort of come back a bit, but there you can see we have a 23-second lead in this race, and we've got 7 laps to go.
Looks like Daniel's got a problem, he's out of the race.
Aw, Daniel's out of the race. What happened to Daniel? That's annoying. I think he was going to be on sort of 4th or 5th, maybe 6th, sort of in the top 6. A nice strong result, would have been good for the team, but apparently he's out of the race. And into the final chicane we go for the final time. Out of the last corner we come, and we're going to win in Suzuka very, very comfortably in the end. It looked like it was somewhere around 15 or 16 seconds over Massa. In the end, there we go, we win. Actually, Rosberg came in second. We win in Japan, get in, another strong result. That is 3 wins from 3, but yeah, the Mercedes just came together at turn number 1, and I just took the lead and Vetteled it like he did in the V8 days, just pissed off down the road and never got challenged. It was probably a bit of a boring episode on your end. There really wasn't much to show other than the Mercedes incident. Whatever that other incident was that I haven't checked yet at the final chicane, and maybe Daniel, if something interesting happened there, I really don't know, I haven't looked at the replay. But there we go, we win the Japanese Grand Prix. A great result for us. It ended up being 13 seconds, but that last lap was such a lift and coast lap, just chill. I had plenty of fuel, but the tires were getting quite worn, so I just sort of just relaxed, didn't really push it, very slow through the S's, lifted through 130R, and really didn't push it very much on that last lap. Just making sure the tires didn't give up on us, but there we go. We have won in Japan. Like I said, that is 3 wins from 3, and we've won 3 out of 4 races we've done with Red Bull. 75% of races we've started with Red Bull Racing we have won, which is bloody awesome. And there we go. We have won from Nico Rosberg and Felipe Massa taking the final step on the podium. There must have been a last lap pass there between the two, because I thought Massa was in second up until the very end. And you got Lewis Hamilton in 4th, and then Valtteri Bottas, Fernando Alonso, and Kimi Raikkonen in 6th and 7th. And Jean-Eric Vergne in the Toro Rosso. He was playing a bit of a different strategy, I believe, starting on the prime tires. That's why we sort of got caught up a little bit with him in that after our first stop, and that has paid off for him, beating Sergio Perez, and then our replacement Daniel Kvyat taking the last place in the points. And outside the points, we have both McLarens, which is interesting considering they have the Mercedes engine back in 2014. To see them both out of the points is a bit surprising, and they are being split by Nico Hülkenberg. Then you got Romain Grosjean, Jules Bianchi, Adrian Sutil, Kamui Kobayashi, Marcus Ericsson, Pastor Maldonado finishing last out of the finishers. And I don't remember lapping him, so I must have lapped him when he was in the pits or something. He must have got caught up with someone or something like that. And then Daniel Ricciardo did not finish the race, and Esteban Gutierrez got disqualified from the race. You probably know what happened. I've probably looked at the replays and you will have seen them, but at this stage, I have not seen those incidents yet. So at this stage, I would go and have a look at the championship standings, but I don't have Microsoft Office on my computer, so I don't have Excel, which is how I've been keeping track of the points up until now, so I can't actually go on and enter the points and run through the updated standings. So I will do that at a later date before I upload this video. So yeah, you're about to see the championship standings after I just talk for another minute or so. But yeah, that is all for today. Crazy result there. Mercedes, Lewis trying to do his favorite party trick and run Nico out of room and run him off the track at turn 1, and they did in Austria, really. That's all that happened from what I've seen. I haven't looked at the replay yet, but then after that we snuck through, Vetteled it, and yeah, it was a rather boring race, but a comfortable win for us. And I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to smash the hell out of that like button, and if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.